Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Sorted George Garage with me, Julian. Ridge Reamer for your cylinder bore. If you've never used one before, I'll show you how to use it. Here we go. Banging. Okay, so Ridge Reamer. What is a Ridge Reamer? It's basically a cylinder cutting tool in disguise. All right. Right. What it's for? Okay. When your piston goes up and down, up and down, up and down in the bore, your piston usually reaches the top of the bore, but the piston rings only come up to, you can see that sort of dark brown line. It just comes up just below it, basically where the blue of my glove is finishing. Okay, now if I put my fingernail, you can just hear it catching. All right, it's very, very, very slight. Okay, but the problem is when you put in new piston rings, okay, like I'm doing, this is like a freshen up rebuild. When you put in new piston rings, they may be a couple of thousandths thicker. You know, different manufacturer, whatever. If that piston ring comes up and hits against that ridge, you can either break your piston ring, you can break your piston itself, and it can cause a lot of damage. So the idea is to get rid of the ridge. It's only wear and tear in the engine, that's all it is. But because this part does not get worn away with the piston ring, whereas obviously this bit does, okay, all this like goes up and down, up and down, up and down, okay, but this part here, it doesn't get touched by the piston ring, okay, it never gets worn, so you need to take it off. Now I'll show you the Ridge Reamer. Now this particular Ridge Reamer is made by Lyle, okay, and basically what happens is you've got three legs. All right, these two legs, they've got rollers on. They will roll around the bore. This third leg here, okay, is what has got the cutter on it. Now there's the cutter at the top. Okay, let me bring it in closer. There's the little cutter at the top, because obviously you only want to cut the top part of the cylinder, okay, to get rid of the ridge. Now I'm going to put I've got a 9/16 on my drill, because it will go faster. So if I just put this on and start the drill, all right, you can see the legs coming out. Okay, now that's what happens is you do this first nut up here, okay, which then spreads the feet out to sit on the cylinder walls. Okay, let me show you. Right, so she sat in the cylinder. Okay, so these are the two legs that have got the rollers on, and this is the cutting edge. Okay, so basically, as you can see there, all right, this part sits on top of the cylinder, okay, where the heads would go. This cutter has just got a very small edge for it to sit on. Personally, I think it's a bit of a design fault. They could do by making it just that little bit bigger. It wouldn't hurt. So basically what you do, you now open this by screwing it clockwise. Okay, as you can see, that's turning. The tighter I go, there you go, that's just starting to get a bit stiff now. Okay, like that. Now this one is a 21mm I've been using, okay, and basically what you do is you spin it around and then just tighten that up just a tad, spin it around another couple of times, tighten that up a little bit, spin it around a couple of times, and away you go. Now, one massive important thing that I will say is lubrication for the situation. Okay, use WD-40 3-in-1, whatever, providing you have lubrication down there for this to spin around so that that blade does not go round dry. Right, so get myself set up. What I want to do is just lube in there with WD-40 on the blade and obviously on the two wheels. Okay, obviously on the top there. So now what I can do is put that in. Make sure she is sat on the two legs that have the rollers on, okay, And what I tend to do is put my fingers there to lift this end up so that the underneath of this bit actually lays on top of the cylinder wall as well, like so. Okay, there you go, that's that. Now, here we go, first cut. Usually the deepest. Right. There you go, that was a nice easy one. So now I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. Just like that, that'll do. That'll do, donkey, that'll do. Now, because this is set at one position, okay, you're only going around and making sure that you are actually like cutting it one depth. The other style of Ridge Reamer that I had was a snap-on style, okay, and I found that this blade would be like a floating blade, and I didn't like it because I thought if there was any sort of ovalness in the bore, it wasn't going to take it out, so I wasn't keen on that. Lovely. Right, just take this out and clean up the blade. As you can see in there, okay, you can see all of the stuff that it has collected. Okay, let's get rid of that. Right, let me just lube that up again. And the blade, oh, I forgot about that. Lovely. There you go. That's down, that's down. There you go. Here we go again. Try and go round in one complete circle rather than using a ratchet and going because you can get lines on it then. Right, so I've just got a little bit over here. So, a bit more lubrication for the situation. Tighten that just a little bit more and hopefully we should be done. We'll soon see. Let me try that again over here. I'll tell you one thing I don't like doing, and I've just done it, and I'm glad that I done that by mistake to show you. That's the cutting blade. Because it sits on these 2 feet, I prefer to put this away from the blade. You know what I mean? So if there's any leaning or anything like that, you're doing it on these wheels rather than on the blade. All right? Oh, try that again. There you go. Let's try that. Let's have a look. Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. Just a fraction more. Right, let me just clean this tool out. Hang on, and I'll be back. When you clean off the tool, just clean out the rubbish from the bores and respray. Preferably not over your trousers. Just feel a tiny little bit. Just a tiny little bit. So here we go. You sit back in there. I think not tight. Oh, it might be. No. That's better. That should be enough now. Hopefully, we'll soon find out. Lovely, that's brilliant. There you go, guys. And that is it. Take that off. There you go. That's brilliant. There you go, guys. And that is it. Take that off. 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 And that There you go. You've got some stuff here, look. Some of it's dropping off. And there's some more stuff that you've just cut off of the cylinder wall. It's not a lot. I'll tell you what, let me bring you in. It's not a lot, okay, but it's all fine metal, okay, so it's just like powder now. But yeah, you are, sorry about the focus. There you go, let's try that again, shall we? Now that we're back in focus. Yeah, it's just like powder, basically now, okay, as you can see. And all you're doing basically is taking away from the cylinder wall the part that never got taken away by the piston rings during normal wear and tear. Okay, so let me just clean this up. Okay, I can feel that that is absolutely perfect. There you go, there is nothing there now. That's just taken away that ridge that we had there. There's nothing now, and that will tidy up when we do the hone. So there you go. That is how you use one of these little Ridge Reamers. And there you go, guys. There's the finished result, up close and personal. I cannot catch my finger on that anymore, my fingernail. That is lovely and smooth. The transition between obviously one edge and the other is absolutely perfect. Basically, the tool has done its job, and that's what it does. Guys, I hope this has helped you out in some way. If so, like, share, hit the subscribe button as well if you wouldn't mind, please, because it will help this channel grow. And I will see you on the next one at Salted George Garage. Banging.